Hi gamers, welcome back. Rick here at Game Trade Media here at GenCon 2018 with Jim Long from Aries Games to show us some really cool stuff. Thanks for joining me, Jim.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
I'm back on the floor mode. Hey everybody. All right, so yeah, what did you bring us today?
So today we got BattleStar Galactica Starship Battles, and this is a new release we have coming out hopefully around Thanksgiving time.
That's like just around the corner.
It's just around the corner. It's really, really close. So
and these ships look amazing.
Yeah, this is the pre version. So this was a version where we're testing out paint samples.
Okay.
And so we've actually made 2 rounds of improvements since then. So although these look pretty darn good, we are actually going to have the final products look even better.
Wow. So let's take a look real quick at the Viper. Look at this. That is so slick. So you guys were able to get this license. Is this only for the original series?
No. So what we've got is working with Universal, we're able to get the original series and the reimagined series. And so we've actually got access to the whole catalog for them. So yeah, it's pretty nice because we're able to look at the universe and hopefully bring it visually to, like with the comic books and the novels, we're actually able now to take those and actually hopefully put it on the game field.
So you also see a Cylon Raider here, and we'll take another close-up real quick of the Cylon Raider so you guys can see that. There it is. It looks amazing. I'll put it back on the stand when I have my free hand. All right.
Here you go. I'll do it.
All right. So yeah, so we got the Cylon Raider. So what is the how's this going to play?
Okay, so if players are familiar with our World War I or World War II Wings of Glory series, it is definitely in that same family of games. So what happens is movement, combat, everything happens simultaneously. So the first thing that you do is you'll actually plan your move. The movement cards are different, so they're hexagonal.
Okay.
So typically what would happen is you decide what move you're going to do, and then we have a control panel here.
All right.
This is another pre-production of the control panel. We're making some changes here, and it tells you things about your ship that are really important in terms of gameplay.
Okay.
The first one, I'll go from right to left. The first one is your speed. So you actually set your speed here, decide whether you're going to go fast, medium, or slow. You can actually stop or go in reverse, because one of the things about this game that's pretty unique is that it's actually set in space, and it actually uses space-like combat.
Okay.
So we've tried to find a good balance between playability and frictionless space flight. So if you're cruising along, going really, really fast, you can't stop on a dime just because you didn't play a movement card.
Right.
So in this case, you can actually also go backwards, and some of the ships have faster than light capability.
Nice.
So I start off, I set my speed. At the start of the game, then, you'll also set your momentum. This is your kinetic energy. So this tells you how fast or slow you can go. Every ship has an acceleration factor, which basically says the ship itself is only capable in space of speeding up or slowing down so much. So you have to kind of plan ahead. If you're going at a kinetic energy of 6 and you want to stop, you're not going to stop on a dime. You're going to kind of slow down and ultimately stop. So you'd set your kinetic energy from the previous turn, so you'd know what it is. And so you set your speed. Then this is rotation.
Okay.
So I'll talk a little bit more about rotation in the future, but there's your rotation. Then finally, whether you're going to go up or down a level. Okay. Unlike gravity-based games, which is most of them, going up and down in space is not really much harder than just pointing the nose up a little bit. So since you're not dealing with gravity, you can go up or down pretty quick.
Nice.
When it comes time to play, you simply set the card in front. So in this case, I'm going medium. I set the card in front here, and so I follow the medium track, and I go here and I move it to the end. And I look at this right here and I say, okay, well, I've got my momentum. Okay, so my momentum here, the 2, I reset my new momentum, and now that'll be my momentum for the next time. So with an acceleration of 3, I can play moves next turn to go up to 5.
Nice.
Now, one of the things you can also do is, for example, you can combine with what's called overboost. So you can actually play 2 cards in one turn. So so maybe I do this.
Okay.
All right. So I take a look at these. I play these. And in this case, I set this here. I set this one here because I'm still going at medium speed, and now I get a much greater movement. I add up the speed, 2 plus 3, I can 5. So, which is well within my acceleration. So now I'm going 5. It's going to take longer to slow down, but if I really need to get someplace, you can get someplace quick.
That's really cool. I want to show everybody this device here. What did you call this again?
This is the control panel.
The control panel, and as he said, there's your acceleration, your kinetic energy there on the bottom, and the circle down again is
for rotation.
Rotation. It's super cool. And then elevation is on the far right over here where my thumb is. That's pretty cool.
Then this little piece on the top here, this actually comes off. So when you've got your pilot, you'll put a sticker on here. So you go, this control panel goes with this Viper.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So the other maneuver card it's actually unique in BattleStar Galactica is that the rotation dial. And so what happens is, since we're in space, if I start going forward, unless something acts on me, I'm going to continue to go forward. So in this case, the card I might play might be a rotation card. In this case, what you do with this dial actually sort of matters. So I can set this dial during my move to try to fool my opponent and tell him I'm going to do something, so I can move this all around. And what in this case, it doesn't matter what my speed is because I'm actually rotating. So in this case, the base itself actually has 2 parts.
All right.
So the base itself rotates.
Nice.
So in this case, I'm actually heading this way, but now I've decided to move here, so I move it to the corresponding location. And now, even though I'm still have my forward momentum going this way, I'm actually turning around and shooting at the ship back this way.
That's cool. So it's still going to move this direction?
It's still going to move this way. So then what happens in subsequent turns when I'm rotating, depending on what my kinetic energy is, then I'm going to use this drift ruler. I'm actually going to continue to drift forward as time goes on.
Okay.
Now, at a later turn, I can say I'm actually going to play a card. I'm actually going to change my speed. And now I've gone this way, apply the thrusters. Okay. And now that I'm facing this way, I hold this up. I put this back to the way I'm facing. I set this like this, and now I'm moving back this way.
Okay.
So you can turn on a dime. You can get some really, really interesting tactical situations going on because you're not forced to endlessly circle. You can turn really quick and start going the other way, as we've seen in the show. So one of the nice things about BSG is that the mechanics of the game actually mirror the things that everyone's seen on the show, the how the pilots manipulate the ship to have it do some really fantastic things to give them the upper hand.
All right, so when this game is all out and everybody's playing it, how many players does it support?
So the base game will start with 4 players. There will be 2 Vipers and 2 Raiders. One of the Vipers will be Apollos.
Okay.
And that's significant because in the game itself, the pilots are critical to making the ship work.
Okay.
Pilots have not only abilities, they also have flaws, which add personality. But then one of the things that happens is that a typical Viper or a typical Raider has an attack value. So one of the things that we've done differently with this from some of our previous games in the same line is that the ruler works the same. So you basically measure from the post through the firing arc to see if you have enough, if they're close enough to hit. But we've added a die roll for a little bit different granularity. So it used to be if you're in the arc and you're within range, you're going to do damage.
Sure.
You draw counters, and the counters could have some zeros, could be superficial damage, but often you're actually doing points damage. In this case, even if you're within range and within arc of fire, you still have to roll to get a hit.
Okay.
A Nugget, which is a newbie pilot, is not going to hit as well as Starbuck.
Sure.
So the ships themselves have a standard rating, and then the pilots modify it. Typically what happens, the Viper Mark II has an attack value of 6, so you have to roll 2 dice, get a 6 or higher. Cylon Raider also happens to have an attack of 6. If you roll 6 or higher, you're off and running.
Right.
Pilots modify the roll, so they're able to hit more often.
Nice.
And then once you hit it, we use the same mechanic. So if you're close range, you draw a card or a counter for damage. If it has a little plus sign, and it's at short range, you're required to draw another.
Nice.
So at the end of the day, damage can kind of stack up, but it's not it's not like some of the other games where damage just suddenly overwhelms you.
Sure.
So these are a little more sophisticated and redundant systems and things like that. You actually going to be flying around hopefully a little bit longer.
Nice.
So
Very cool.
So the mechanics work there. It wouldn't be a space game without 3D. So
Right.
going up and down is absolutely possible. Just like the other games you can see here, we've got one raider at level 1. We've got this one at level 2. So in that case, when they're actually, and that we flip the ruler over, so we actually have the math applied to the hypotenuse there. So again, I'm looking at this and saying, well, even though if we were on the same level, I would be just at medium range, but now that I'm here, that we're one level up, I'm actually at long range.
Nice.
So we're able to do that really, really simply. So the goal of the game, for just as the designers were looking at it, is how can I mimic and present on the table all the different nuances of the intellectual property and the TV series that people have come to love, and at the same time do it in such a way that it's really, really smooth. Players don't have to learn a lot of rules. They don't have to really get out the calculator to figure out what's going on. We can do it with a control panel, a ruler, and a couple of figures.
That's awesome. And this is going to be available when again?
It's going to be available approximately Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So we're hoping to unveil this and have copies to sell at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia.
Nice.
Which is right before Thanksgiving. So we'll knock wood on that. And then have it in retail stores in time for Black Friday. So hopefully everyone will have that. This was not a Kickstarter project, and so we're actually it actually helps us in terms of rolling things out, because everyone gets a chance to get it at the same time.
That's amazing. Very cool. Thank you, Jim, for coming in and showing us this. If you want to find out more about Ares Games, where can they go?
AresGames.eu is the website. We're also on Facebook under Ares Games.
Perfect. And then they've got a lot more than just this. There's a War of the Worlds game, right?
Yes, we got coming out approximately the same time. We've got Tripods and Triplanes, which is set during World War I. The fiction is at the end of World War I. We're getting really close to the armistice. It looks like the Allies are finally going to pull off a victory when suddenly Mars invades Europe. And so all the great powers are weakened by the war, so they have to band together. Former enemies are now allies to beat off the Martian invasion.
So good.
So the tripods themselves are spectacular. Just like everything that we do comes fully painted, assembled, and ready to play. And so you'll be able to leverage all of your World War I planes. You'll be able to play those in the tripods. We'll have the tripods as part of the base set, and then new tripods will be released as singles.
That's so cool.
It's awesome. We're showing demos of it over at GenCon this week. Again, hopefully we'll have that at PAX Unplugged in November as well. There's a slight chance we might be able to have some stuff at Essen.
Okay.
But we'll see how that goes.
Right, fingers crossed. And then on that note, everybody, thanks for watching. We'll be back real soon with some more great content. I'm Rick here for Game Trade Media, and I'll see you at the game store.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Game Trade Media. Make sure to leave us a like and click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new content.